welcome you guys to our Chamber KEYS session. I'm Miranda Martinez. I know many of you here. I am the Senior Program and Experience Manager for the Rockwall Area Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank you all for being here for our first KEYS session of 2021. I would like to introduce you to our keynote today, Brad Clark with ActionCOACH. Brad is a certified business coach. Since opening his coaching practice, Brad has helped numerous business owners achieve their goals and take their business to the next level. Brad's clients have achieved double and triple digit growth and profitability accomplished through improvements in sales, marketing, team training, system development, and strategic planning. He helps business owners grow from an owner wears all hats approach and development of results driven by profitable team, allowing the business owner to focus on the areas that he or she enjoys. Today, Brad will speak on the topic, Choose Me, Not My Competition. So help me welcome Brad Clark.
So you guys get the dubious honor of being my very first live in-person event in 10 months. So if I stumble, be gentle. If I spit on you, Nikki, don't worry about it. I've had the COVID, so I've got the tiger blood. You're good to go.
Me too.
So when I was asked to put together a presentation, I thought, well, we're about to enter a pretty unique, to say we're entering another unique time in the last 12 months is probably understated, but coming off lockdown, coming off all the restrictions that COVID has to offer, we're entering a time where I believe the business is gonna boom. I think 2021, especially as the vaccines roll out, we won't have any political talk in here, so we'll leave that alone. But I think business is going to be a boom, which makes it even more important going forward. Is how do you stand out amongst your competition? Who wants to volunteer to name me 2 businesses that are in overabundance in Rockwall County?
Insurance salespeople.
Insurance salespeople. What else?
Realtor.
Poor realtor, that's pretty much title companies, dentists, financial advisors, chiropractors. We don't have a lot of donut shops. Salons, we don't have a lot of, we got some. But, so, why is it that somebody would choose you, not your competition? So, who wants to volunteer a guess as to the purpose of business?
Make money.
Okay, what else? Randy? What's the purpose of your business? Why do you do it?
Help people.
Okay, not the only reason you do it.
Well, money.
Okay, what does money do?
Make a living.
Why?
Because I have children.
This is going down a rabbit hole. So the purpose of business, we believe, is to give you more life, right? If the purpose of you building and growing and starting building and growing your business wasn't to give you a better opportunity for a more enjoyable and more fruitful life, then wouldn't it be easier just to get a job? Have a lot less stress, right? So to give you more life, also more life options. So how do we do that? A couple of ways that we'll talk about a little bit later on, and is a core focus of the work we do with our clients, is there's 2 ways you give yourself more life options. Way number 1, more profitability and work less hours. So the more profitable your business is, the less hours you work, the more life options you have. How do you build more profitability and work less? Systems, put more systems in place, right? Systemize the routine, manage the exception. But we're not here to talk about systems, we're here to talk about uniqueness. Oops, go back there. So, before I tell you what we're going to cover at a high level today, I want you to think to yourself and maybe jot down a few notes. What is it you want to get out of today? And be specific. If there's a certain thing you want to get out of today and we don't talk about it, there'll be some time at the end for some questions, and perhaps we can cover it. So, what am I going to cover today? We're going to talk briefly about recognizing and understanding who your best customers are so you can get more of them in the future. Discover your business uniqueness so you can compete on value, not price. So, any real estate agents in here? Get out, really? All right, what else did we mention? Real estate agents, title company, financial advisors. That's a bad example. Because you don't necessarily compete on price. Who competes on price? Who's a commodity item and who competes on price? What do you saw?
Home inspections.
Okay, I think you look familiar. So, wouldn't it be nice to not lead the conversation with, we're gonna be the cheapest in town? You're not the
Oh, we
cheapest in
don't.
town, I know you don't. I know David.
Yeah.
But was there ever a time when you had to do that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And
Why don't you have to now?
We don't have to now because our business has increased and the types of properties that we're getting calls to has also increased. Like bigger properties, bigger, like.
So you built yourself a brand?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You built yourself a brand. So that's one way to create your uniqueness and to be able to compete on value and not price.
Mhm.
But we also are gonna figure out a way to compete an effective guarantee. Guarantees are designed to remove the risk of buying, the fear of buying, right? So before we dive into guarantees a whole lot, who has a guarantee? Okay, who else? Would it shock you to know that consumer laws in the state of Texas pretty much require you to back your product? So why not advertise it? I mean, and honestly, even if consumer laws didn't, if a client or a customer comes to you and complains of bad service, are you really gonna tell them to get out and don't call me again?
No.
Or are you gonna try to fix it?
Fix it.
Yeah, so why not market that, right? By the way, I'll tell you a little bit about our guarantee as well. So I let the cat out of the bag there just briefly, but 68% of customers tend to leave the vendors they're with because of perceived indifference, right? I don't think you care enough. How many of you, after say going to a restaurant or even a high-end service like a doctor's visit or a dentist visit, received a thank you card in the mail? How often?
Dentist.
Dentist? Okay, that's a good dentist. Who else? Here's a question that hits close to home. How many of you do that? All right. Raise your hands again.
I mean, I do it annually, not every country.
You do what?
So I'll do it annually, but not with every customer that I work with.
Okay, well, and fair enough. If you're a transactional business, it gets kind of hard. What about for brand new customers? How many have an active system in place to make sure you're staying in close contact with your grade A customers? Okay. You ever been into a restaurant and you've had a meal and your waiter comes up and says, or waitress comes up and says, was everything to your satisfaction? Yeah? Is that why you went into the restaurant to start with? Just to be satisfied? Right? I never understood that question. Is everything to your satisfaction? Because, I don't know, nothing screams, let's strive for mediocre better than were you satisfied with things. So everybody expects when they go into buy a product or service, they expect satisfaction, right? But what gets them talking more? They're satisfied.
Negative stuff sometimes.
Negative stuff definitely. Negative stuff definitely. Let's stay on the positive side though. So if they're not gonna go out and tell everybody, yeah, that was a satisfactory experience at that particular restaurant, that was satisfying, then what will get them talking? Give them more than they expect. Right? Anybody ever heard the old saying, undercommit and overachieve? Well, why do you think that is? Commit to something you know is a no-brainer, and then overachieve it. So, what happens? That just happened last week. Walk into a restaurant, and lines out the door. You say, put us on the list. How long are we looking at? Looking at about an hour. Hour away. I said, okay. Bar time. Sit at the bar. 30 minutes later, your phone is buzzing, they've got your table ready. So, describe to me the feeling of that scenario versus it's gonna be an hour wait, and at the 59-second mark, your phone goes off. Yeah, okay, they got me inside an hour, that's cool. Wait a second. They told me an hour, they got me in 30 minutes. Do you really think that when they told you it was gonna be an hour, it's gonna be an hour? No. But that's one way to make yourself unique is to give your client base something they don't expect, right? Anybody else got an example of giving something they don't expect? Trevor. I know you got an example.
So with our ads, we always do a post every month for Facebook at no charge.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
For our ads, anybody that ads with us on our billboards, we do a free Facebook post for them every month.
Every month.
And tag them, so.
And is that something that was detailed out ahead of time, or you just do it?
No, we just do it.
Cool. How many of your competition is doing that? Do you know?
None that I know.
So that gets people talking, right? So, another way to make yourself unique is to think about what are your moments of truth? What are those moments that make the difference between an uber satisfied client and somebody that's shopping around for somebody else to buy your service from or your product from? I'll give you one. Actually, a lot of you in here know me and know my wife. My wife works for a large medical diagnostics company. She's remote field support for actually one of the little bitty analyzers that tests for COVID. Started to open up a little bitty side business and have people come funnel through our office because we've got one of those in our office at home. Come funnel through the office and we'll kind of backdoor COVID tests and I can make some extra revenue. But there's something called the FDA and they've got a problem with that. So, but she had one of these instances just not long ago where there was a facility over in Fort Worth that had an urgent need for a testing kit that they didn't have. She had extra testing kits in our office in Rockwall, an hour and 20 minutes away from Fort Worth. So she picked them up and she drove them out there. Totally not in her job description, totally not in even what the hospital was expecting. They were expecting maybe an overnight FedEx. They got it that afternoon. That's something that is a good way to recognize your uniqueness is in those moments of truth, what do you do to wow your customers? I'm gonna pick on Cheryl.
I was just actually thinking of, I had a client call, she's having emergency surgery, and she didn't have any available cash, and so she needed a wire transfer to her account.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the gentleman I was speaking to, I was like, hey, this is emergency surgery. She cannot set the appointment with the doctor until she puts a down payment for the surgery. And he called me back 2 minutes later, and he said, hey, I want you to deal with Kyle directly. He's our supervisor, so that they can ensure this gets expedited as quickly as possible. So that kind of blew me away. I was like, you know, I was expecting a wire, same day typically anyways, but they wanted to hold my hand through the process, and because, you know, they were concerned about my client, you know, not about me, about my client. And I was like, that's exceptional service.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm reminded of I won't give any free press to any local restaurants, but there's a restaurant over in Rowlett. An ethnic restaurant that when things got locked down last year and, you know, it was looking like we were gonna be an extended period of time where you couldn't even go to the grocery store, or there was gonna be shortages of this and shortages of that. Rather than close their doors down and give their team nothing to do, they started putting together, you know, commodity packages, you know, produce, fruit, toilet paper, of all things. Well, that wasn't expected, and surely not in their charter, right? But guess what? That not only that restaurant make it through, but they flourished because that was their moment of truth. That's what wowed their community and their existing customers. So out of that uniqueness shapes what we're gonna talk a little bit about next, and that is, what is your universal, out of order there. Who's your target market? Who has a target market? I said that again, who's got a target market? Y'all better all be raising your hands. Who has more than one target market? Can you have more than one target market? Yeah. You can have a target market for every single one of your products or services. You can have a target market for different demographics of your customers. I mean, yeah, for sure. The only difference in treatment of your target market is messaging. So, who is your target market? Exercise number 1. Who's your ideal customer? If I were to ask for a volunteer this time, who can name me 2 aspects of your ideal customer? And don't say they pay me money.
Mine's easy, middle-aged woman,
Middle-aged woman. Define middle-aged.
anywhere between 9 and 99.
We love you.
I think that's more woman.
Well, yeah, but we are,
All right,
to
let
bring
me-
it down a little bit better, and what my target is the middle-aged woman, 30 to 40 years old, that
Okay.
never, doesn't like to exercise and is embarrassed of themselves.
Okay. Why that age bracket?
Because that's the point when your body falls apart.
And what is it you do to help that?
Tell them it's okay and we'll fix it.
Okay. What else you got? Say 2.
One.
2,
Yeah, go ahead. Middle-aged woman.
well, and I mean, it depends. We have a nutrition program that's for men too, which is kind of odd. But
You do?
You may have heard about that.
I did.
Yeah.
About 15 pounds ago.
Yeah. Proud of you for keeping it off.
I'm not keeping it off. It was 15 pounds ago. Anyway, go ahead.
So I guess we can do men, but for the most part, we also would be targeting anybody else to do personal training.
All right, well, let's back up a minute. I don't want to completely take you down a hole here, but
Yeah,
you were very specific on a target age,
correct.
30 to 40. Those ideal clients that fall into that 30 to 40 that's ideally fit for some of your fitness programs, what else is common about?
They need to be healthier,
Okay,
medical issues,
all right. What kind of medical issues?
heart disease.
Okay,
I could go on.
You can.
Forever and ever.
and I would let you.
So-
What about, what about, okay, I'm gonna be the elephant in the room. What about discretionary income? What about having money?
See, that's where I'm struggling at the moment.
Okay, it's okay to struggle there.
Yeah, well, because we are, for personal training, but bottom line, we're not charging enough money. So I can't keep staff on board.
Mhm.
That's where I'm.
So ideally, it's not say who, remember I didn't ask who are you getting now. I said ideally, who do you want?
Sure, I want. people
Middle-aged
that can
women that have
afford it,
some
no
health
question.
issues and
High
have
as I
some,
go.
and have some discretionary income.
Sure.
Okay. See that little practice right there? That's a really quick way. You've now taken the target market where you gave me one thing, you've got 4 things now. How much easier would it be to communicate with your ideal client knowing those 4 aspects about them?
Sure.
Or not even go communicate it, go identify when you see them. Middle-aged woman, 30 to 40, health issues, diabetes, heart disease, lives in Heath.
Bingo.
Bingo, right? So, another good way to identify who your target market is take a look at your client base. How old are they? Heavier percent male, heavier percent female, right in the middle. Where do they live? Why is that important? Where they live tells you a lot about their socioeconomic structure, tells you about their hobbies, potential hobbies, tells you where they hang out. What's their income spending habits, family size, etc. What are, these are all just examples of things you can ask yourself about your target market. And then rank them in order of importance. There's a handful of examples there, but this is an easy exercise that you can go home today and do is take a look at your recurring customer base, the client base, and ask yourself these questions, and then rank them in terms of importance to them, these particular demographics. This is a good way to start to identify, if you haven't already, who are your A clients, who are your B clients, who are your C clients. By the way, who wants to keep all their A clients? Who wants to keep all their B clients? C? D? You know a good way to get rid of your D clients? Give them a coupon for one of your competitor services.
Yeah. Politely refer to
Yeah.
another person.
Buy them a gift card and send them to your competition. Guess what? Your competition will take them. So, once you have that list of clients, then grade them. Again, you're gonna grade them by the same way. You're looking for your A's. Your A's are the most important. Your A's are the ones that are gonna stabilize cash flow. Your A's are your rating fans. A also stands for advocate. They're the ones that are basically your free marketing team. Those are the ones that are out there saying, you know, if you need a home inspection, don't call anybody else, call David. You know, he'll do you right. But they do that without your prompting, without your involvement. How important does that say to, I don't know, financial advisors? Huge, right? So what? Developing your USP, or universal selling proposition. Oops, go back. So make a list of things that truly are unique. I like this exercise. That truly are unique in your target customer's eyes. Okay? What is your USP? Again, what is your uniqueness? What stands you apart? You know what the most common answer I get when I'm sitting with new clients or prospective clients is, well, what's unique about you? We work hard. We're fair. You get fair pricing. By the way, that's why another reason I got off Facebook. If I see one more post about reasonably priced, I want to vomit. Somebody define for me reasonably priced.
What I can afford right now,
What can you afford right now?
depends on what I'm buying.
Relative.
That's my
All
point.
relatives.
Or I think the funniest one I think I ever saw posted on social media was somebody looking for a neurologist that's reasonably priced. I ain't kidding, I saw that. I need recommendations for the best neurologist that's affordable.
No.
That's like going to Kmart for your LASIK surgeon. Right? No knocking against Kmart or Walmart. I just have to go pick my LASIK surgeon that's a little that special. So, again, we got mixed company in this room, so I feel comfortable enough. If not, you can censor this one out. We actually had a client, it's a jeweler, that was developing their USP. They went back and did this exercise. Looked at their current clients, the majority of the folks, percentage male, percentage female, why they were buying, and then developed their target market of A-list clients based on that. And their best payers, their on-time payers, their raving fans, their advocates, and what they found was those demographics primarily fell into men, predominantly over women, of a certain age bracket. And they usually bought from this jeweler for 3 specific reasons. 1, special occasion. 2, get themselves out of the doghouse. 3, give themselves a little bit better shot in the bedroom. Right? Those are 3, I mean, there's legitimate 3 reasons, and I'm not joking around. Better chance for sex, getting you out of the doghouse, special occasion. So what did they do? They started a marketing campaign detailing the fact that we have 7 female romance experts on staff to help you romance challenged men get the perfect romance kit for whatever your reasoning for coming in is. How well you think that went over? Yeah. I think we saw, what did we see with them? 300 and some odd % increase year over year. How simple was that? Name for me one, I could probably ask you to name 3 or 4 jewelers that have the capacity to do that exact same thing that this one did. All of them do. You don't walk into a jeweler and expect to find somebody that knows nothing about diamonds or nothing about gold. But they ID'd it. They marketed it. They sold it. And they reaped it. Okay? So, if your competition, when you think of your universal selling proposition, and I was partially joking and partially heart attack serious, I get a lot of times, what is your uniqueness? We stand behind our work. Okay? State of Texas says you have to. What else? Well, we're honest. Says who? If your competition can say the same thing, it's not really unique, right? So, successful USP needs to be truly unique. If you do nothing else out of this little exercise today, I'd love for you, and Miranda can get you my contact information, I'd love for you to email me before the weekend one uniqueness, true unique quality about your business that your competition does not or cannot offer. Send it to me. Let me critique it for you and I'll send it back.
Does it have, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Does it have to be something that they could offer, but they just choose not to?
It needs to, it could be. So think of it, think of the challenge this way. What is something unique about your product or service offering that your competition is currently your competition currently can't say or currently is not saying? Everybody and their mother's kids are out there saying that we work hard, we show up. Came across a general contractor the other day. It was kind of unique. General contractor that their pitch line or unique selling proposition was, we show up on time every time. I initially thought, well, do I weigh in on that and tear them apart, or then I got to thinking, who deals with general contractors in the room? Nobody? Everybody, yeah. How often are those guys late? How often do they not show? Pretty often. So I thought, okay, well that's not too bad. Something that's not only unique, but is exciting to your target audience. What you're gonna find when you go through the exercise of, identifying who your grade A customers are, what those demographic attributes are, you're gonna see some commonalities in that. What are their challenges? What are their frustrations? Why do they truly come back to you? Well, that's gonna help develop that uniqueness and that aspect that's gonna be exciting to your target market. Something that'll get people talking. Again, that's the whole thing. Don't seek to satisfy, seek to exceed. And something that can't easily, there's the answer to your question, it's something that can't easily be copied, or if it can be, it's an obvious ripoff. So here's some impactful USP statements. A couple of my favorites up there. We got friendly staff. Is that unique?
It's expected.
Nope. Our shop is clean and tidy. Nope. How about a 48-hour money-back guarantee? Okay. Maybe so. We got all kinds of sizes in stock. It's a good one for a shoe store. We have a unique 8-step program to ensure our staff precisely meets your need. We're well established. Been around a long time. We care about you. This number 8 here was one that just absolutely blew up in the last 8 to 10 months. We have a pickup and delivery service to and from your business or home. How many things can you list off the top of your head right now that can be delivered to your home with ease that wasn't that way 10 months ago? A lot. There probably are a handful of restaurants that didn't embrace this, and they're probably not around anymore. So, discover your uniqueness by looking at your business from the outside in? What's a good way to do that? How can you look at your business from the outside in? Because you're neck deep in it every day. Right? You see what you see. I mean, as a business owner, and there's a lot of solopreneurs in here, or even folks with teams of, less than 10, you're so neck deep in the day to day, you're lucky to notice when it's daylight outside. So how can you get an outside perspective? It's an easy way.
Yeah.
I mean, other than me.
Since they have a friend or family go through the process, or you go
Yeah.
through it yourself.
Secret shoppers are awesome. Especially if you got a brick and mortar or an online retail online service, secret shoppers are awesome. Just tell somebody at some point to unexpectedly go order something and then give you feedback. That's incredibly powerful. Another way, who are your largest competitors and what are their strengths and weaknesses? Do you know who your largest competitors are? Now, there's a fine line and a big difference between knowing who your competitors are, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, and obsessing over them. I'm not saying obsess over them. I'm saying understand the field. Know your enemy, for lack of a better term. What are the perceived standards in your industry? Anybody know what I'm talking about with that? Go ahead.
For us, I sell insurance, and so the perceived standard is I'm gonna get a call from my insurance agent whenever my renewal comes up, and maybe they'll take me out for lunch once a year.
Okay.
Be easy.
Yeah.
So anything better than that, it's,
Jared, you've been doing this for a minute or two. I would wager to say, without offending you, you're a relatively commoditized space.
Relatively.
What's an industry standard for you? What is perceived standard for somebody that's going to come to you for website design?
That it's gonna work.
How so?
It's gonna function properly.
Okay. Click on this, it's going to go to the right page.
Right.
I don't know, we might get some traffic in there organically at some
No,
point.
no typos, images aren't stolen from somebody else, like it's a legal, situation.
Yeah. How does your business compare to those standards? Critique yourself. I mean, sit down, write out 3 or 4 industry standards that are specific to your industry, and how do you guys perform to that standard? What would your A customers say about you when they rate you against these standards? Ask them. For the love of all that's holy, ask them. If you've got A clients that are come to you routinely, advocate for you, they're going to tell you what you're doing wrong. Ask them. And then what clearly differentiates you? And if it doesn't now, what can it be? And what will you offer? What is something absolutely outlandish that you can do in your business right now to blow your clients' doors off? Randy, you got a pretty unique offering. Those that don't know Randy, she's a mobile PT. She comes to you.
just very unique.
How many people have mobile PTs? I don't know. I always have to go to this danky torture chamber. She brings the torture chamber to you.
In the back of my car.
So what could you do? I mean, knowing that you're already unique, you've got a pretty unique universal selling proposition now. What could you do that would blow the doors off your clients or prospective clients?
I mean, I already do offer weekend services when needed.
Who tends to be what tends to be the biggest demographic for you, the commonality in the clients that you serve? Athletes?
Active in
Active.
general.
Young, old?
Young to middle.
Okay. So they're active adults?
Mm-hmm.
Do they do recreational sports?
Yes.
Okay. What about if you showed up at one of your A clients' basketball game?
I do that.
See? Do they expect you to do that? No.
No.
No. But you just show up out of the blue and say, okay, we're gonna get you stretched out before you go out.
And watch movement.
Yeah, and watch movement, perfect. We're gonna move on from that. So, this is my favorite, and we talked briefly about this. One surefire way to create a difference: offer a guarantee. Now, out of this room full of business owners in here, and be honest, raise your hands if offering a guarantee scares the hell out of you. Who's afraid you might get taken advantage of if you offered a guarantee? Nobody? Awesome. At least half y'all are lying. I offer a guarantee and it still scares the crap out of me. So, why does a guarantee work? Let me ask you, who do I pick on now? Johnny. Got Johnny. Johnny, I'm sitting down in front of you. By the way, the little QR code you got in front of you is going to give you an opportunity to sign up for a complimentary strategy session. So let's say you and I did that, Johnny. We're sitting here talking and we identify some areas I can help you with. And we identify some plans and stuff we can roll out. And I say, Johnny, this coaching program is going to work great for you. By the way, it's $5,000 a month. And it's going to take you to heights of business you've never seen before. Why wouldn't you say yes?
I guess I'd have to have a guarantee of return on investment.
Oh, did that just lead into my guarantee or what? So what's the big fear of signing up for a coaching program that's going to have to make you cash flow $5,000 a month?
Not getting my return on investment.
Not getting your return on investment. What would you say if I told you, and you pitched, and you've said that to me in a meeting? Well, I need to understand that I'm going to see this money back, right? What would you say if I told you, perfect, we actually have a guarantee that states if I don't show you ROI inside of 17 weeks, I coach you for free until I do.
Be more likely to do it. For
Does
sure.
that take some of the fear away?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a big pucker factor, right? Because it's a large amount of money to cash flow. But if I told you that within 17 weeks, that's what, 3 months, I will have found $15,000 worth of improvements in your business, or I coach you for free until I do. Remove some of the fear. So, increases confidence in the buying decision. Gives security, reduces risk. Gerald, how many people are leery of bringing their family fortunes over to you after they've been with Edward Jones for 15 years?
Yeah, when they get burned, they definitely have cold feet.
I'm not talking about burn, I'm talking like
Transferring it over.
yeah, you've got somebody that you've clearly shown a differentiating factor to, and they're interested, but you're talking about moving legacy wealth over to you, and not, there's some fear there, right?
Right.
Oops. Guarantee also works because, and bear in mind, and we'll talk about this briefly, but guarantee, the nature of the guarantee and the nature of what you guarantee and how you guarantee it, guess who that's up to? It's up to every one of you, right? To guarantee every one. We have plumbing clients that had 3 guarantees. We'll show up on time. We'll show up professionally groomed and not stink. And we won't show you butt crack. That's literally a guarantee. That's the 3 guarantees. So, plumbing industry is pretty commoditized, right? I mean, there's a ton of plumbers out there. Really hard sometimes to unless you're one of the big plumbing companies, it's hard to show a differentiating component. Well, if I tell you we're going to show up on time, or every 5 minutes that we're late, we're going to give you $100. We're going to show up professionally groomed and not smelling like the back of a plumbing truck, and you'll never see our butt crack. You know, are those 3 things that plumbing company can live up to pretty easily? Yeah, they can't. They don't deserve to be in business. But they can. So you get to write that guarantee. You get to choose the wording. Myth about guarantees. We talked about this, and I'm glad to see that we either have a really confident room or a bunch of delusional people. A lot of folks that I work with are frightened about guarantees simply because they think they're gonna get taken advantage of.
When we first started offering our guarantee, I honestly thought, oh dear God, this is just opening a door for all kinds of shenanigans and, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But once I saw that the return on the investment, it's like a blanket you just put on your clients and they're just like, oh, okay. And it just builds that trust, like you said, but in the beginning, I was just like, oh dear John, it's just gonna be a free
Yeah,
for all.
cause you guys are dealing with probably the largest purchase that anybody's ever gonna make in their life.
Yeah,
Are they getting a limit, or are they getting a house that's in good shape?
right.
You know the number one reason that we've actually, so with our guarantee, do you know how many times we've actually had to pay that out? 0. Why is that? It's not because we're freaking phenomenal, which we are, but it's because we spent a considerable amount of time determining what could we do routinely, repeatedly, and consistently. And that was it. We typically show results in our clients within 60 days. The guarantee reads 17 weeks. So we haven't had to pay it out. Another reason guarantees work, and the myth behind this notion that people are going to take advantage of you of a guarantee. Number one reason it typically doesn't work out that way. Consumers are inherently lazy. They just are. The majority of consumers out there, unless you really trip the trigger, aren't going to come back to you and ask for the money back. They're just not. They're going to move on. They might trash you. They might write some nasty Google reviews, but they're not going to come back. Successful guarantees should be very specific. And this is key. It should address the main frustration of fear your customer has with your industry. Do you think plumbers' butt cracks is a concern within that industry? Better believe it. I don't want to see it. But what's a bigger concern in that industry? Having this creepy guy that looks like he just come in off of Hobo Lane and smells like death warmed over coming in your house. How about this, also for plumbers? We'll leave your house cleaner than we found it. Anybody ever had painters or plumbers or construction folks in your house and they leave and you're like, it's like, a sawdust vomited in here, right? So understand what the main frustration and fears with your industry are. How can you relieve those fears? Again, consistently and repeatedly. Don't set yourself up to have to pay this out every other week. Be complete. Either we do this or you get this. Either we will find the ROI within 17 weeks or we will coach you for free until we do. Don't be afraid to be arrogant. Be impressive. Don't be bashful. This is our guarantee. We will get you results. We're so confident. We're perfectly fine staking $15,000 on that particular guarantee. You know why? Because we're never going to pay it. Never going to pay it. So what are the 3 biggest frustrations? The one key thing was identifying one uniqueness about you, in the room, going to send that to me and I'll weigh in on it. Identify at least one frustration that your industry has, that people have with your industry and people buying from you. And then go create your guarantee. Did anybody not know Jim Rohn? Look him up. Jim Rohn's, well, he's dead now, but he was actually the mentor for the gentleman that started our franchise. And if you need some very powerful, business reading, confidence boosting, this guy's phenomenal. But my favorite quote of his: "Never wish that life were easier, wish that you were better." Life's never going to get easy. It's just 2021 showed us that. It's just not. Life is life. So if your alternative is to wishing it was easier or finding a way to make yourself better, find a way to make yourself better. So, what are you gonna do with this info today? We already identified 2 areas you're gonna sit down and one uniqueness, one frustration that you're gonna identify in each of your businesses. That will get you started down the path of evaluating creating your own universal selling proposition and your own guarantee. By the way, once you come up with a unique universal selling proposition and a powerful guarantee, those are the 2 biggest components to a rock star marketing strategy of anything. That's better than $9 million worth of Google AdWords. Well, maybe not. Imagine $9 million worth of Google AdWords with a strong USB. So, questions? No. In front of you, and on here shortly, you each are gonna get the opportunity. This is not a sales pitch. I'm gonna make that very clear. I don't want Miranda coming in and kicking my butt. This is absolutely, positively free. We offer up a certain amount every month of complimentary strategy sessions. Hour and a half, we're going to identify 2 constraints that are holding your business back, identify 2 to 3 of your top gains that you want to see in 2021. And then we'll put together a template of a plan that removes the constraints so that you have a stronger likelihood of certainty to get the gains that you want for this year. 2 conditions that we have: you must have solid growth potential. My gut tells me you wouldn't be here if you didn't. And you must be committed to change how you run your business. That's the only 2 caveats, okay? The QR code will lead you to a brief questionnaire. It won't take you more than about 10 minutes to fill it out. It comes to me, and then my team will reach out and schedule you in for the hour and a half. Last chance for questions. All right, so I'm gonna ask a question since nobody's got a question they're gonna ask. Who am I going? I'm sorry, we've not met. I'm Brad.
I'm Amy Coe.
Amy, what do you do?
I have a charcuterie to go business.
What is it?
So it's to go. That's awesome. So what are you gonna do? What's a uniqueness you're gonna start to take a look at? Other than your charcuterie to go, that's pretty cool.
I think, listening to you today, I'm thinking about a guarantee, because I don't have anything like that now, just about a guarantee. I'm preparing new business.
Okay, so what's a big frustration of online food providers?
I guess, communication.
Okay.
And making sure my website communicates, and I do through social media, who I am, what I do, and getting people to contact me if they have questions.
Can I
or
give
need
you-
customization and.
Can I give you 2? Timeliness of delivery. Or not necessarily timeliness of delivery, but fulfilling on expectations. So if you tell them it's gonna be X, it's gonna be X every time, if not earlier. That's a big frustration. I don't know who orders pizza anywhere frequently, but 9 times out of 10, except, I won't mention that.
No, time is always of the essence because it's something that's made last minute and eaten
Yep.
within 48 hours for freshness, so time is always.
So what's another frustration amongst the food delivery arena?
I can't do delivery to everybody at everyone's individual houses. I have
Okay.
pickup spots that I do. You place an order during the week, Friday in Forney, you come pick up here, Saturday in Rockwall, you come pick up here. If you want it other times throughout the week, I do deliver. Sometimes it's free, sometimes it's not. It depends on what it is for. And
How
that kind of thing.
about accuracy of order? Could be, not necessarily, I'm not saying it would be you, but accuracy of ordering and accuracy of delivered product is a huge frustration amongst delivery services. So think about maybe how is it you can stand out or differentiate yourself or create a guarantee around accuracy of order. Accuracy of order, timeliness of delivery. Just a thought. No more questions?
Thank you, Brad.
I appreciate you, thank you.
Yes, thanks.